This is an African news update on top accolade news. The headlines: Kenyan mask vendor shot by police, declared brain dead. Togo protest turns deadly. Pressure mounts on Boakai to establish war crimes court in Liberia. President Ruto begins Europe tour to boost Kenya's economy. We'll start with the focus in politics. Kenyan mask vendor shot by police declared brain dead. In Kenya, 22-year-old street vendor Boniface Mwangi, who was shot at close range by police during last week's protest in Nairobi, has been declared brain dead. His family confirmed the grim news on Sunday after doctors at Kenyatta National Hospital reported that his brainstem has ceased functioning. Boniface, who was selling face masks when caught in the chaos, was shot by an officer whose identity remains concealed. The incident unfolded amid growing unrest following the suspicious death of blogger about Ojwang in police custody. His hospital bill has now surpassed 3 million shillings as his family appeals for public support. Still in politics, Togo protest turns deadly. At least 7 people have been killed and many more injured during anti-government protests in Togo's capital Lomé as demonstrators rallied against controversial constitutional reforms that could extend the president's grip on power. Clashes erupted after police used tear gas and batons to disperse crowds, with videos showing alleged abuses by security forces. Internet access has been heavily restricted across the country. The protests held from June 26 to 28 were sparked by changes that make the president head of the powerful Council of Ministers an unelected role with no term limits, prompting opposition leaders to label the move a constitutional coup. Moving on in politics, pressure mounts on Boakai to establish war crimes court in Liberia. Calls for justice are intensifying in Liberia following the death of former warlord and Senator Prince Y. Johnson, as civil society groups, legal experts, and international partners urge President Boakai's administration to fast-track the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. Johnson's death without trial has reignited frustration over decades of impunity for war-era atrocities. While key steps have been taken, including a legislative resolution and executive order, critics warn that the progress is too slow. Legal leaders support a hybrid court model, blending local and international law, while the US, EU, and UN have pledged support, provided Liberia demonstrate firm political will. Pressure is mounting for lawmakers to act decisively before more alleged perpetrators escape justice through age or death. Shifting focus to economy, President Ruto begins Europe tour to boost Kenya's economy. President William Ruto has departed Nairobi for official visit to Spain and the United Kingdom, aiming to secure major investment deals and advocate for a reformed global financial system. In Spain, he will attend and co-chair sessions at the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development, holding talks with Spanish leaders on climate resilience and clean energy. In London, Ruto will sign the renewed Kenya-UK Strategic Partnership 2025 to 2030 with Prime Minister Keir Starmer, targeting trade, technology and security. The UK has pledged up to £1.5 billion in new investment for Kenya, while Lloyd's of London will announce a regional hub in Nairobi. The president is also set to deliver a keynote at the Africa debate to attract international investment and promote Kenya's economic transformation. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Still in economy, Egypt overhauls VAT system. Egypt has introduced targeted amendment to its value-added tax system, aiming to expand the tax base and promote equity while preserving exemptions on essential goods health and education services. Passed by the House of Representatives, the changes include adjusting VAT on construction services to the general rate with full input tax deductions allowed, encouraging transparency and lowering overall costs. Administrative units in commercial spaces will now face a 1% tax, and a 10% schedule tax has been applied to crude oil without affecting fuel prices. Additional revisions include updates to cigarettes and alcohol tax structures aligning with global best practices and industry feedback, all designed to support Egypt's human development and fiscal sustainability goals. Moving to health, 35 hospitals closed in Kenya. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale has revoked the licenses of 35 private hospitals over a massive fraud scheme involving the Social Health Authority, sparking public outrage. Duale revealed that the facilities, in collusion with some healthcare workers and patients, submitted false claims and inflated patient numbers to siphon billions from the newly established SHA, meant to replace the scandal-ridden NHIF. The revelation has triggered fierce criticism online, with Kenyans questioning how such fraud could occur less than a year after the SHA's launch and following the 106 billion Kenyan shilling system overhaul meant to curb exactly this kind of abuse. In entertainment, Kwame Eugene credits church and faith for his musical breakthrough. Ghanaian high life star Kwame Eugene has revealed that despite his success in the secular music scene, he still considers himself a minister of God. The award-winning artist, born Eugene Mafo, shared that his musical and spiritual journey began in the church, where he learned to play instruments and nurtured his faith. A pivotal gospel event in the Volta region, which earned him his first pay as Minister Eugene Mafo, helped launch his career before his big break on MTN Hitmaker and eventual signing with Lynx Entertainment. He credited his rise to divine guidance, family, and mentors like Richie Mensah. Now in sports, Thomas Partey to leave Arsenal after 4-year spell. Ghanaian midfielder Thomas Partey is set to leave Arsenal when his contract expires on Monday, concluding a 4-year stint at the club. Signed from Atletico Madrid in 2020 for £45 million, Partey was a commanding presence in Arsenal's midfield but struggled with recurring injuries. Despite talks over a possible extension, no agreement was reached, and his departure signals another move in Mikel Arteta's summer overhaul. While his next destination remains uncertain, clubs in Italy, Saudi Arabia and Turkey have shown interest. Arsenal are now expected to target midfield reinforcements ahead of the Premier League and Champions League campaigns. That concludes our African news updates for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojorumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.